Hi everyone, this video will show you some simple tricks on finding whether a number is divisible by 1 all the way to 10. So the first number is pretty simple. Any number that divides by 1 is divisible by 1. So let's just move on to the second number. How do we find if the number is divisible by 2? So basically if it's an even number, it is divisible by 2. So here's a quick example. And now let's move on to divisible by 3. So a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the number is divisible by 3. So let's give a quick example. Let's say we want to find whether 4,325 is divisible by 3. So all we have to do is add numbers 4, 3, 2, 5 together, and we get that number is 14. Now we ask ourselves, is number 14 divisible by 3? And clearly it is not. Therefore, the original number 4325 is not divisible by 3. And here's an example that you can try out. So all you have to do is find the sum of 654 and divide it by 3. And you should find that the answer is yes. How do we find if a number can be evenly divided by 4? So all we have to do is look at the last two digits of the number. If the last two digits is divisible by 4, then the number is divisible by 4. Now here's an example. So here's a pretty large number, but we do not have to look at any of the numbers except for the last two. Now the last two numbers is 28. And clearly 28 is divisible by 4 because 4 times 7 is 28. So this whole big number here, 5,469,428, is divisible by 4. And here's another example that you can try yourself. So we have 8,826. We do not have to care about the first two 8s. And all we have to do is look at the last two, 26. And since it's not divisible by 4, you should get that the answer is no. For whether a number is divisible by 5, it's pretty simple. You just look at the last digit of the number. If it ends in a 0 or 5, then it's divisible by 5. For whether a number is divisible by 6, we look at if the number is divisible by 2 and 3. So basically we're just using rules that we applied earlier for 2 and 3. Now both rules have to be true in order for 6 to be evenly divided into the number. Now here's an example. Is 444 divisible by 6? We first look at whether the number is divisible by 2, and clearly it is because it's an even number. And then we check if 3 can be divided into 444. So we applied the rule for divisible of 3, which we get the sum of the number first, which is 12. And since 12 is divisible by 3, 444 is divisible by 3. And because both 2 and 3 can divide into 444, this entire number here is divisible by 6. Now here's another example. Say we add another 4 into the number, so 4,444. Now this time we can see that the sum is 16, which is not divisible by 3. So even though it's an even number, this number does not divide into 3. So therefore 4444 is not divisible by 6. And here's an example that you can try by yourself. Now how do we tell if a number is divisible by 7? So first we take the number's last digit and multiply it by 2. And now we subtract this result from the remaining number. And then if the difference is divisible by 7, then the number itself is divisible by 7. However, if the number is too big for you to tell, all you have to do is repeat this step. And you can repeat this process several times. So here's an example. Is 5,291 divisible by 7? So what we do first is we take the last digit of this number, which is 1, and we double it. That gives us 2. So since we took this last digit away, the remaining number now is 529. So now all we have to do is the remaining number minus 2 times the last digit. So it's 529 minus 2, which is 527. Now we ask ourselves, is 527 divisible by 7? Now clearly this is a pretty big number and it's hard to tell right away, so we repeat the same process again. So this time 527 is the original number, and so 7 is the last digit. We double 7, which is equal to 14, and because we took away the 7, the remaining number now is 52, and then we do 52 minus 14, which is 38. And now it's a pretty small number that we can tell right away that 38 is not divisible by 7. So therefore this original number 5291 is not divisible by 7. Now this is another example we can try, and we'll do this question much faster. So we can tell right away that 0 is the last number, so we take away 0, we double that number, and we have 5432 left. So 5432 minus 2 times the last digit, and we have 5432. Since it's too big of a number to tell, we repeat the process again. So we take away the 2, the last digit, do 543 minus 2 times 2, 539, and we repeat this process until we get to the number 35. And now clearly 35 is divisible by 7. So therefore this entire big number here is also divisible by 7. And here is an example that you can try by yourself. For divisible by 8, all we have to do is look at the number's last 3 digits and whether that divides evenly into 8s. So when we're given a very large number, all we have to do is look at the last 3 digits, and we can tell last 3 digits 240. And since 240 divided by 8 is 30, we can say that this whole big number here is divisible by 8. And here's an example. So when can 9 be evenly divided into a number? So this trick is pretty similar to how we can tell whether 3 can be evenly divided into a number. All we have to do is look at the sum of the number and check if it is divisible by 9. So for example, is 29,819 divisible by 9? We get the sum of this number, which equals to 21. Now you can see that 21 does not divide even into 9, so this whole number here is not divisible by 9. And here's the example. For divisible by 10, all we have to do is check whether the last digit is a 0. And if it is, then of course it is divisible by 10.